Hello everybody, this is Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about weird things that Keith told me, kind of head scratcher stuff. So first off, I'm chewing gum. I need to know, honestly, does this make me look like a prostitute? Because I don't need that kind of trouble, you know what I mean? So visualize, because this is one of the things that he told me, that he didn't want me chewing gum because it made me look like a prostitute. Visualize in your mind a 12-year-old girl wearing tennis shoes, blue jeans, and a t-shirt. And usually I had a basketball in my hand because I was totally into basketball. So anyway, do you think that adding chewing gum to that kind of would make, I don't know. So anyway, that was one of the weird things that Keith told me. Now I'm going to give you my opinion. This is what I think was behind him telling me that. See, Keith, he didn't like the way it looked. Now I feel like he told me that it made me look like a prostitute, so he didn't want me to chew gum, because that sounds better than I don't like the way it looks and I don't want you to chew gum because of that. That's my personal opinion. Just watching Melody over the years, how her hair got longer and more unstyled. She didn't wear jewelry except for her wedding ring. Kind of plain clothes, nothing really, stood out. And then after Keith died, you'll notice that Melody permed her hair, she styled her hair, started wearing jewelry, more makeup, and nicer clothes, in my opinion. Okay, so it kind of tells me that I think Keith had some type of control, a certain amount of control over how Melody dressed and how she presented herself, because that's the way he wanted her to look. That's my opinion. He never said anything to me, so I don't know for sure, but that is my guess as to why he said no chewing gum, because it makes you look like a prostitute. Okay, so I'll leave that there. Next one, looking at my notes. Okay, this next one, I remember we were in Los Angeles, and we had a garage sale going on, so I must have been about 14, because we're getting ready to move to Texas. And he walks by. He was notorious for these walk by, drop a snide remark, and then walk on. He said to me, "You are not pretty, but you're not ugly," and walked away. Okay, what does that mean? And then here's the thing. Later on, I found that was not true. So he lied to me. All of those spankings about lying, all of those lectures about lying and God being very unhappy with a liar and keeping them out of heaven and all of this stuff, he bold-faced lied to me. Lied. Okay? Here's my opinion. I believe he did it because he did not want me to think I was really beautiful and let it go to my head, and then I become proud. So he lied to me. Okay? And that's a bold-faced lie, because I was told later that was not true. He thought I was very attractive. So that just upsets me a little bit, because he went to great lengths to tell me how bad lying was and how horrible it was. And here, okay, so let's move on. Okay, I was in high school, and I was looking at getting into, well, I was in speech class, and in speech class, they also do plays and stuff, and I wanted to get into the play that they were going to have that year. This was my last year of high school. And Keith told me, "I do not want you to get into the entertainment business because you will fall into sin. It's not you might. It's not it'll be too much of a temptation and you might fall. He stated it as you will fall into sin. And so he did not want me to be in a play in school. So I thought that was kind of weird because it's just a play. It's in school. It's not like I'm going to college to be an actor. So anyway, I thought that was weird. And I think it was, of course, his Christian background and his ideas and beliefs and whatnot. He was trying to protect me. Now, this is something interesting because he had put me in, when I first moved in, it was like, okay, we got to get her in school. So they put me in a public school. But the next year, Keith put me in a private Christian school. And I was able to do all the sports and all the anything I want. And then we moved to Texas and he put me in another Christian school there. And again, I could do whatever I want. I could do sports. I could get into, I was actually in choir and we had a performance and he let me do that. So this last year of high school, he put me in the public school. He said he wanted to test me to see how I would walk the Christian line, even in a secular school. So when I started going to this school, I asked if I could join the sports teams that they had available. And he says, well, sure, but you have to be home by 5:30. Now, if you've ever been into sports or anything where you do practice and whatnot after school, and you have your games that you play and stuff, you're not home until like 8. Well, practice is shorter, but if you have a game, you're home late. So I couldn't be in any sports. I couldn't be in anything really that required that I stay after school. So that was a weird thing because it was just a school play. It was my last year of high school. I really believe that if it was a Christian school, that he would have been fine with it. I think there was a difference because it was a secular public school. Okay, this next one really hurt. And because Keith was in a position of helping me, teaching me, guiding me, and I looked up to him. One of the things over the years with Keith, I do not remember, and maybe once or twice it happened, but I don't remember it ever happening. Him telling me that I did a good job, that I'm doing good. I'm doing what he wanted me to do and whatnot. So when I did something good, there was no response from him. So one day I was sitting in the office. It was upstairs. There's a desk, and I'm pretty sure I was sitting there talking to Francine. And he comes around the corner, walks across in front of us, and goes down the steps. And as he's walking by, he mentioned that the Stukenborgs, a family, they were here and they were moving in. And he said, looking at me, he says, I wish you were as mature as Ruth. That was their youngest daughter. She was 14. At that time, I was 16. So really made me feel good. But like I said, it was a walk by, drop a snide remark, and leave. There's no discussion. There's no, what the hell was that? Where did that come from? Why are you saying that? What are you trying to say to me? If there's something I need to improve on, if there's something I need to do better, please talk to me. Don't just do this walk by, drop a snide remark, and disappear. That doesn't help me. It's not good. So that did hurt. And I really don't know. He never talked to me about my maturity that I can remember. So I don't know what he was talking about. Anyway. Okay, this was when I was 17 and we were walking, passing each other. Again, dropping a snide remark as he walks by. I think, I can't remember who was going which direction. The ministry, the big buildings, and the dormitories and stuff like that were across the street from where Keith and Melody lived, and I was still living in their house. So we were walking past each other, and he says, "I know why you want to get married." I just looked at him, and he says, "Because you want to have sex." Yeah, no, that's not it. I didn't say anything. I just, he was still walking on. He was not interested in a conversation. He just wanted to drop that little snide remark. And the truth was, the only reason why I wanted to get married was to get the hell away from him, to finally have a safe passage out from under him. So, and in fact, when I left the ministry, I did get married, and it was not for sex. It was for security, because I felt very vulnerable out in the world, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to, open a bank account, how to buy a car. I didn't know all these things. I didn't know how to do stuff. And so when I left, I was scared out of my mind, honestly. So when I left, I did get involved with somebody. I was not in love with him, but he was safety to me. So I married him to help with that security, and it was not for sex. Okay. So one more thing I want to mention, because this is really, really kind of weird. Keith did this thing in his concerts. He started, well, didn't always do it, but he started doing this thing where he would just play the piano and be tuned into God, and God would tell him about somebody with an ailment, a health issue or something, and he would say, "God wants to heal you," and describe the ailment, the health issue, and just would minister healing to the audience. And there would be a lot of people who said, "Oh my gosh, I had this terrible chronic pain in my back and had it for years, and all of a sudden it's gone. Thank you so much." There was a lot of that. And he struggled with it because he thought that it was might be coming from metaphysics, so not from God. And therefore he ended up stopping that. So people were not given the opportunity to heal, because he thought it was not coming from God, that it was metaphysics, which is, not Christian. And anything that's not Christian is of the devil and all of that. So my thought is, why would the devil want to heal people? Weird, right? Okay, so in really extreme beliefs, does this to us. We have these weird things that we have in our mind and we think are true and real, and I don't know. I am so glad that I have gotten out of this and that I'm walking my own path. And if you've ever had classes with me, I give you the basics. And I give you the basics so that you have the tools to create your own path. I don't want you to listen to me to tell you what you need to do or what you need to believe. I'm going to give you guidance. I'm going to give you some ideas, suggestions. You try it out. I'm a big believer in what works for you is going to work for you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody. I've run into that time and time and time again. There are certain things that we all need. There are certain things that will work for all of us, but we're all different, and we need to recognize that if somebody needs to follow a certain deity or needs to follow a certain belief system, that we make space for them and let it happen, because that's love. That is love. Let them follow their path and learn their whatever lessons they want to learn, experience whatever it is they want to experience, and be there to support them. That's love. And I believe that's what we're supposed to be doing here is supporting each other and loving each other, not criticizing and saying you're of the devil, and passing judgment on other people. We need to, and it's really, really hard right now with what's going on in the world, and what's going on in this country with some of these people that I want to ridicule, but that's not my place. I can't be doing that. I have to make space for them to figure out what they're doing, but I also, and this is getting off on a tangent, isn't it? But I also want to protect myself from them, because they can, if they get together and there's enough of them, they can change our laws in this country, and it can affect all of us. So there's that. I will talk more about that because it's been bothering me, and I think we should all discuss it. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to allow what's happening? So weird things Keith told me, and it's I think it comes from religion, and he had a position of power and authority, and he used it to, drop these things, these snide remarks. I don't understand. Well, I do. As a man of God, why would you drop a snide remark? Nobody's going to learn anything from that. You have to expound on it and explain yourself. And if you're trying to correct somebody, say that. What is it that I need to do better? What is it that I'm doing wrong? There's none of that. It was drop a snide remark and move on. And there's no love in that. There is no love in saying, you're not pretty, but you're not ugly. What is that? What am I supposed to learn from that? So anyway, it was weird, and it was Keith, so it was the way he was, and I am sorry to anybody who felt that from him, that these snide remarks, ever got those, because you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. I don't care if it's true or not. You don't deserve a snide remark and then walk off and not communicate what your intentions were in saying that. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to me, and I hope you do well. I love you all, and until next time, blessed be.